The symptoms, like I said, I didn't realize that headache was a symptom of stroke. Not many people did, but now I know. But then after we were talking to each other, she was saying how her head hurt, and so I was massaging her head. While I was massaging her head, all of a sudden, she was laying down on the couch, half her body started slumping, and half her face started drooping. Now, I didn't know nothing about nothing, but somehow I figured, I must have heard in the back of my mind somewhere, oh my gosh, this is a stroke when half of your body, doesn't work. So at least I knew that. And those are symptoms. Always when the speech is slurred, when half of your body looks like it's succumbing to gravity, headache, those are huge symptoms that you need to be aware of.
David, we want to find out more about what to do in an emergency. Excuse me. But at this point in the show, we want to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success. My name is Bill Horan. The show is produced at the studios of WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. We'll be right back after this brief intermission.
Welcome back to The Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch-snuggling, ball-chasing, face-licking, tail-wagging, backyard-hanging, and, of course, companionship.
And what breed would you say Satchmo is?
I'd have to go with maybe a lavish terrier-hound chihuahua-looking kind of mix.
Tremendous dog.
I'd also like to point out Satchmo's coloring, a white, gray, brown, black brindle, simply marvelous.
It's such a treat to watch a dog like this.
Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive. And now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance, so common with this group.
And finally, the loving face lick.
It's great how he just gets in there and, well, licks.
Fantastic. But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Secrets of Success. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today we're speaking with David Nassaney, author of It's My Life, Too. David, you said there's two very special words that people have to know about. What are they?
Two very special words. Give me a hint. Sorry.
I think it was yes and no.
Oh, yes, of course. That's the whole premise of my book. Boundaries. Caregivers get upset when their loved one does something that upsets them, which is like every minute. But really, it's your fault when a caregiver, crosses the line because they don't know where the line is. You never drew a boundary. You never said no. You never said yes. Most caregivers make promises they never should have made. For example, please don't ever put me in a nursing home. Oh, I promise I'll never put you in a nursing home. Well, that promise just might kill you. If you made a promise like that, go back and immediately reverse it. And instead say, I told you one time that I'd never put you in a nursing home. I have to alter that because one day you may need 24/7 care, and I am not able or capable to give that to you. So I'm going to change my promise instead. I will give you the best care possible. Get out of that trap as soon as you can because so many caregivers are killing themselves because they're trying not to put their loved one in a nursing home. Now, I'll give it to you that 9 out of 10 I wouldn't put my cat in. All that means is that there are some good ones out there. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. If you do your homework and you go visit them, don't let them know you're coming. When you get there, do the smell test. How's it smell? Look in the hallway. Are wheelchairs stacked up and people just staring at the wall with no activity? That's a red flag. You want to find a place that smells good, smells clean, antiseptic, a place where there's a lot of activity. The seniors are either, playing bingo or playing Wii, video games or singing or the community brings children in. If you bring a little child into a nursing home, they just light up. People who haven't spoken in weeks, all of a sudden they come to life, So you just have to find the way to connect with people who some have been abandoned in nursing home, which is so sad, because if you are going to put your loved one in a nursing home, remember they're there and remember to visit them regularly. And they get treated better when the nurses in the facilities knows that someone cares for them and they come periodically. They'll make sure they're in clean clothes and that they're bathe properly, but there's some that people never visit them, and somehow they seem to get the worst care. It's just not right, but that's the way it is.
David, we want our audience once again to know, because this is so important, and maybe even if you don't feel it's you that needs this, you may want to get this information down for your friend, your brother-in-law, your neighbor, someone who at work will tell you, oh yeah, I'm a caregiver. And who was that author on the show? The author is David Nassaney, Nassaney. The book is It's My Life Too, TOO. And David, will you tell us where we can get the book and the website?
Go to caregiverdave.com. And if you are not a caregiver, send a caregiver that you know and love to caregiverdave.com, and they will get plugged in. And we actually want to give you 3 free gifts. Please allow us to do that. In that case, go to freeburnoutbook.com, freeburnoutbook.com, and you're going to get my free welcome pack. It's just packed with lots of advice and tools to help you get started on your caregiving journey, or if you've been started for a while and you're off track, it'll help you get back on track. And I'm going to give you a copy of my first book about overcoming unbelievable hardships. It's a story about my wife and myself and what we went through and how we survived, not only survived, but thrived. And the third thing is a quiz on, are you a candidate for burnout? And it'll show you where you're lacking, and we'll give you the answers to your quiz, and we'll tell you how you can improve your scores on that. That's what I highly recommend. And like I said, if you're not a caregiver, you just might be saving a caregiver's life by sending them to this website.
That's why I want our audience to make sure.
Life.
Give it to us once again.
freeburnoutbook.com.
And do that favor, as David said, even if it's not you, maybe get a copy for a friend or send them to the website. Let them take a look at it. You'll be really doing a lot for them. Now, David,
you'll be giving them the gift of life.
There you go. Now, you mentioned in the book, and I'd like you to expound on this a little bit, making priorities and learning new skills make people better caregivers. What kind of priorities? Can you give us an example? You've gone through this. You've been there, done that. What kind of priorities should we be looking at?
Well, everyone has probably been burned out with something in their life. Well, caregivers aren't the only ones who get burned out, right? We get burned out at work. We get burned out at school. It means we're doing too much. We're not caring for ourselves. We're not eating right. I have a CARE formula, C-A-R-E. And how it goes is C, communicate with your friends. Don't isolate yourself. You know, caregivers need a life outside of caregiving, so don't neglect your hobbies, your interests, the things that you used to do before. You know, when's the last time you went to a movie with a friend? When's the last time you went to the gym? When's the last time you had a massage, or just if you're a biker, when's the last time you rode your bike? Get that exercise. The A stands for ask for help. And for goodness sakes, when help is offered, don't turn it down. I can't tell you how many times caregivers get people and friends. Hey, is there anything you need? No, I got it. I'm good. You know, like I said before, they just think that they're a failure as a caregiver. I just cut my finger the other day with a skill saw down to the ligament, and it's because I didn't ask for help for someone to hold the other end of the thing I was cutting with a skill saw. I mean, I'm the caregiver's caregiver, and even I can't ask for help. So you've got to ask for help. Get over it. Swallow your pride, whatever it is doing, because I don't really know why I think I just don't want to put people out. I don't want to feel indebted to them. Whatever the reason is, get over it. It's going to kill you if you don't. R, rest. Caregivers need 8 hours rest of sleep every single night, just like you and I do. But the average caregiver only gets 2 or 3. I can't survive on 2 or 3 hours, can you?
No way.
And then E in my CARE formula, eat nutritious and healthy food. Don't eat junk food. Junk food's got chemicals and sugar, processed ingredients. All that stuff will kill you. So just following that CARE formula will save your life, keep you out of the hospital, keep you out of the morgue.
And David, also, I want to remind our audience, you had a great suggestion in the first part of the show. A lot of us like to do good things, that we want to help people. Sometimes we can't donate that money for a scholarship fund or whatever else. We just don't have it. But if we can give a caregiver an hour of free time, maybe once a week or maybe twice a week, if we're home, we're a retired person, maybe you can sit with the person who needs the care, read to them, just make sure they're okay, comfortable watching TV, whatever. What a great gift that is to that other person. And you're going to feel better, too, because you're actively doing something. Now, a lot of people say
time is sometimes more valuable than money.
Exactly.
And everybody has time, believe it or not.
Now, we hear about plants and pets and gardening. Is that important to work with the person who needs care? Do they? I think you said that just having children around really helps them a great deal.
Yes. My mother died about 3 years ago. The last year of her life, severe dementia. And, you know, when you're in those final stages, there's not too many things that you can do. But you know what? I got her a plant. And that plant was so important to her. She would water it. She would talk to it. And that plant was like a companion. Sometimes a pet also, a cat or a small dog. They even have robot dogs now that act real, you know, for severe dementia patients, you know, if you're afraid that they're going to kill it or you know, sit on it or not feed it or whatever. And children, small children, if you have a small child, visit your loved one with the child. You will see them just come alive. Bring some of your music, you know. A lot of these people, big band and swing was popular in their day. When you turn on that music by Glenn Miller or Artie Shaw, they just come alive. Their eyes light up, and that was one of the few ways I was able to communicate with my mother in those final years, and I highly recommend it. Even headphones. You put them on their head, and it's like they don't even know what headphones are because they forgot a lot of things. But when they hear that music just coming, you know, in stereo in their head, they're in heaven.
That's some great ideas because, number one, the plants are relatively inexpensive that can give that older person something to
get
do.
Another one.
and you can do that. If there's a pet that you have or somebody, maybe you're giving that pet life and you're also extending the life of the person who needs it. And as you said, the music, many of these CDs, et cetera, may be passé. So to someone else, you can go to one of these places where you can get it for a very inexpensive amount of money, and yet it might give them so much joy. And if you can put just an hour between the music and maybe taking care of the plant a day, you're really creating medicine in their life. David, we have to wrap up. Before we do, though, It's My Life Too is the name of the book. Our guest is David, Nassaney. David, give us that website real quick again.
CaregiverDave.com. To get my free book, it's free, burnoutbook.com.
We love those words. Thanks so much for the advice you've given us. I think you've helped a lot of people today. We'd like to let our audience know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success, and I'm your host, Bill Horan. You're listening to the show on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We ask you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.